Hi, I'm Paula. Thank you so much for watching this series of 4 videos that I filmed for you titled Win-Win for Women. Of course, you're welcome to watch if you're a man, but this video series is especially for women, so I invite you to share it with a woman that you love. Each video has 4 parts. I'll talk about self-mastery, how to have better health and fitness, stronger relationships, and financial abundance. Why am I filming these videos for women? For 3 reasons. First, I've loved and served women in 37 nations for over 30 years. Second, many women have questions about the challenges in their lives that I and other thought leaders have answers to. We have solutions that we'd like to share with you. And third, because at age 70, I'm reopening a glorious global community of women helping women so that we can all strengthen each other and have lots of fun while we're doing it. During the decades that I've spent teaching women internationally, I've learned that all of us women have many of the same needs and desires, no matter how old we are and no matter where we live in the world. We all want to love our lives. We want to be safe, appreciated, loved, confident, and fulfilled, knowing that we're living a meaningful life. Another thing all women want is vibrant health and lots of energy. We all want to like our bodies. And third, we need healthy relationships, loving families, and good friends. Fourth, and this could have been first, women want financial abundance. They want to be wealthy so that they can have plenty of money to take care of themselves and their loved ones. These 4 areas, enjoying self-mastery, better health, strong relationships, and financial abundance. That's what I talk about in each one of the videos in this series called Win-Win for Women. The first win of the win-win is what you bring to the community of women, your talents and strengths, what you give to others. The second part of the win-win, is what you will receive from expert thought leaders and other wonderful women who want to give to you. It's a beautiful model, a loving global community of sharing and giving and receiving. Women helping women so everyone can experience deep joy and fulfillment in their lives. In this first video, I'd like to begin by sharing with you a little bit about my personal life, my personal journey that I've never really shared publicly. I grew up in Los Angeles, married my high school sweetheart, who's now a university professor, and we raised 8 children who are now the parents of our 24 grandchildren. Many years ago, our family performed professionally as a family band. For 12 summers, we performed in 42 states, at the United Nations, and in Europe. During those many performances, as I looked out into the faces of the people in our audiences, I truly felt a deep caring for them. Those sweet individuals and families came from many different nations, a diverse group of people everywhere we performed, all looking for the same thing. Both the audience and our family wanted the same thing, to share moments of happiness through music. And through our music, we bonded with our audiences. As they looked at us and clapped or swayed to the music, I felt a profound connection with them. I looked in their smiling faces and I loved them. It was an indescribable feeling knowing that we could give our audiences and they could give us moments of joy. And the seed was sown in my heart to do that throughout my life, to share something of value with others in ways that brought us both happiness. And through the years, I've been blessed to be able to do that as a performer and then a radio show host and professional speaker. And then God had some big fat life lessons for me to learn. It began during the recession of 2007-2008. Unaware of the coming recession, in 2006, I started a new seminar company for women, Ignite Your Life Seminars. I left home to speak to ballrooms of women across America from September of 2007 to June of 2008. The recession was a very, very bad time to start a seminar company and trying to sell my $5,000 trainings, but I was locked into venue contracts for 9 months ahead. Advertising with full-page ads and radio spots to fill the ballrooms of women in all those cities was very expensive. My overhead was huge. I did sell many products, but I returned home after all those months, September to June, $300,000 in debt. Soon afterwards, I started a new business. However, my team and we didn't have a viable financial model. So I went another $300,000 in personal debt, and the company had more debt than that. Oh, I learned many very difficult lessons way back then, and I was deeply humbled by my business failures. Thankfully, my family continued their loving support, for which I'll always be grateful. Those were profoundly difficult times for me emotionally and financially. However, through all the challenges, I never lost my burning desire to share principles of truth, to teach, because I love the women of the world. I love the people of the world, especially women. And I truly desire to help them experience deep joy and fulfillment in their lives. After those business challenges, I developed a beautiful nonprofit organization, the Global Prosperity and Peace Initiative. Our education-based mission is to increase the level of love, prosperity, and peace on earth. And we are fulfilling that mission with wonderful volunteers worldwide. And then, about a year ago, I knew it was time to develop a way to help women like never before. Not just thousands of women, millions of them, women in every nation across the world. That's our plan. So I connected with highly qualified, experienced business partners to relaunch the Women's Information Network, the WIN, women'sinformationnetwork.com, on January 15th, with a big, audacious goal to help women everywhere celebrate, self-improve, and serve, so they can experience deep joy and fulfillment in their lives. So many women yearn to feel consistent happiness and to enjoy purpose-driven lives. We know how to help them do that. We've created a global community of women helping women live our best lives as we join together in love to lift each other up, lighten one another's burdens, learn from great thought leaders, have so much fun, and serve others worldwide. The WIN's primary purpose is to help each woman, no matter who she is or where she lives, know of her great worth and to love her life, to help her love her life. When women truly feel loved, happy, and fulfilled, they can better reach out to others and strengthen them. And strong women filled with love can work together. Working together, I believe we can create a more peaceful world. And that's something I care deeply about. I believe that if great numbers of women of all nations lift up their voices in the cause of peace, there will develop an even greater worldwide will for peace. Women everywhere, motivated by their deep desires for a more peaceful world, and organized in a global, loving global community with clear goals and unified intentions, those women can make significant improvements in homes, communities, and nations. Yes, my journey has sometimes been rough, as I'm sure yours has been too at times, because we all have difficult life lessons to learn, just in different ways. Those lessons can either crush us or make us stronger. If you're like me, you've probably also learned that our failures, as difficult as they are, can be catalysts for growth and give us a greater understanding of what's really important in life. I'm so happy to tell you that right now, I'm living my dream, and I believe you can live yours. I want that for you. Although we're always learning and growing, all of us, I recognize my countless blessings and I honor the wonderful people in my life. I received my Doctorate of Education in Human Relations when I was 50 years old, 20 years ago. I've received presidential awards from the past 3 presidents of the United States, Presidents George W. Bush, Barack Obama, and Donald Trump. I've traveled and taught wonderful, precious people in 37 nations, and I've written 7 books and many training courses. I live on a beautiful big lake, and 7 of our 8 children live close by. I am so blessed. I'm blessed indeed. And like I said, I want to help you live your dream, to love every part of your life. That's one of the reasons that I'm filming this series of 4 videos, to give you information that can take you right to where you want to be. As I mentioned, we'll talk about self-mastery and how to have better health, stronger relationships, and financial abundance in each of the 4 videos. So let's talk about self-mastery. In this first video, I'll share 7 ways to create your own happiness, no matter what's happening around you, and no matter who is trying to pull you down. As you know, happiness is about focus. Whatever you focus on pulls you in that direction, either negative or positive. U.S. President, long time ago, Abraham Lincoln, said, "Folks are about as happy as they make up their minds to be." And there's lots of research on this. My favorite happiness study was done at Stanford University in California in 1994. After surveying thousands of people for many years, this was their conclusion. Happy people do not experience one success after another, and unhappy people one failure after another. Instead, surveys show that happy and unhappy people tend to have had very similar life experiences. The difference is that the average unhappy person spends more than twice as much time thinking about unpleasant events in their lives, while happy people tend to seek, that's an action verb, seek, and rely upon information that brightens their personal outlook. Close quote. I'm going to repeat that last part. Unhappy people spend more than twice as much time thinking about what? Unpleasant events in their lives. Happy people tend to seek and rely upon information that brightens their personal outlook. Close quote. Gordon Hinckley, one of my mentors, was the very essence of a glad heart. He said, "I'm an optimist. My plea is that we stop seeking out the storms and enjoy more fully the sunlight. I'm suggesting that as we go through life, we accentuate the positive." Close quote. How can we do that? So here are 7 ways to create your own happiness. These things are loving reminders of principles we've all heard, but sometimes we need to be reminded of them. The first way to create your own happiness, and I believe that this is the most important, the most powerful, is to think gratitude. Instead of looking at what you don't have, pay attention to what you do have and to the great things about your life. Dale Carnegie, he wrote How to Win Friends and Influence People. He said, "Happiness doesn't depend on outward conditions, it depends on inner conditions. It isn't what we have, or who we're with, or what we're doing that makes us happy or unhappy. It's what we think about." For example, 2 people could be in the same place doing the same thing at the same time, and one is miserable and the other's happy. Why? Because of a different mental attitude. Close quote. The second way to create your own happiness is to be others-centered, kind and loving. Mother Teresa said, "Spread love wherever you go. First of all, in your own home. Give love to your husband, your wife, your children, your next-door neighbor." This is my favorite line. "Let no one ever come to you without leaving better and happier," she said. "Be the living expression of God's kindness. Kindness in your eyes, kindness in your smile, kindness in your warm greeting." Close quote. The third way to create your own happiness is to be flexible and cheerful. Our ability to adapt well and just be cheerful is an indicator of our strength of character. Have you noticed that you're happier when you just don't sweat the small stuff? And as you've probably heard, most of the things that we worry about in the long run, the small stuff. Being cheerful is a much better way to be. Number 4, be passionate about something. People who open their eyes each morning and immediately look forward to something that they're passionate about, they're usually interesting folks who focus on the positive. I invite you to consider scheduling time to do the things that you love doing. You can give love better from your overflow, so fill your cup. Later, I talk more about this. The fifth way to create your own happiness is to use positive self-talk and healthy, self-fulfilling prophecies. I'm sure you've heard this before, so this again is just a loving reminder. But we want to turn our self-talk from negative to positive. Instead of negative self-talk like I'm so stupid, or I'm such a lousy mom, or I'll never understand this computer. You just say, hey, this isn't what I'm best at, but I'll keep trying and I'm going to get better. Or, each day I'm more patient and loving. Or, I'm clever enough to figure this out. So the sixth thing that you can do to create your own happiness is to ignore your negative thoughts. We all have thousands of thoughts each day. Some are going to be positive and productive. Others are going to be worrisome, fearful, or maybe comparing ourselves with others. The question isn't whether or not we're going to have negative thoughts. We all do. It's what we choose to do with the ones that we have. And we really only have two choices. We can either worry about them, analyze them, think more and more about them, let that upset us, or we could dismiss them. Let them go. When you have a thought, that's all it is. Just a thought. It can't hurt you without your permission. So think of your negative thought as a match that's just been lit. You can either blow it out immediately and stay healthy, or you can hold on to it and let that burn you and hurt you and scar you. The choice is yours. Daryl and Katie had a quarrel just minutes before Daryl left for work. Well, Daryl blew out the match. He let the negative thoughts go as soon as he left the house. Katie, on the other hand, was still stewing and angry about the issue when Daryl came home at 6 o'clock that night. While Daryl was able to have a productive day, Katie didn't get much accomplished because she spent so much time calling family and friends to complain and to get advice and to talk about it. What she didn't understand is that an argument that happens in the morning is no longer an actual argument. It's only a thought in your mind. All right, number 7. The seventh way that we can create our own happiness, and this is the final key to creating your own happiness, is to stop asking yourself bad questions. Start asking good ones. Instead of saying something like, why does this always happen to me? Or why can't I ever remember names? Or why don't they like me? Ask yourself, what could I do to make myself feel happier right now? Or what can I learn from this that will make me a better person? Or who can I help today? By improving the words you consistently use, you can immediately improve the quality of your thoughts, your emotions, and your entire life. Now it's time to talk about improving your health. In these videos, I'm just sharing small bites of the huge amount of valuable information that WIN thought leaders teach on health and fitness and everything else. Because so many people, especially women, care about losing weight, we'll start with that. Eating habits, and you probably know this, eating habits are the #1 issue when it comes to weight loss. You can exercise daily and vigorously, but if you have poor eating habits, there's no way your exercise routine is enough to help you lose weight effectively. It's that old 80-20 rule. 80% of weight loss relates to the food you eat, 20% is from burning calories. Some people blame a slow metabolism for their slow weight loss, and this is true with some people, but the reality is many of the people who say this tend to be eating things that actually slow their metabolism down. And they might not even know it. Not getting enough calories, consuming foods that are covered in pesticides, and eating too many carbs made with white flour are just a few reasons why people's metabolisms don't function at full capacity. Just like there are foods that slow your metabolism, there are also foods that help you burn calories. Some of those foods are almonds, yogurt, apples, grapefruit, spinach, broccoli, beans, oatmeal, and soy milk. And forget quick fix dieting. Who wants to do something that's so difficult and they know they won't be able to keep it up later? The reality is crazy diets that focus on so much restriction are some of the least effective ways to lose weight and keep it off. What you should be looking for is a lifestyle change, not a fix-it-quick diet. If you focus on first fueling your body with healthful foods that are rich in protein and vitamins, you'll find that you need less and less of the junk food that contributes to weight gain and disease. Then, if you feel the desire to indulge in something here and there, you won't feel like you've fallen off the health wagon, and you'll just enjoy it. So what is a sustainable eating program? Well, there's no program that's perfect for everyone because our bodies function differently. However, scientific studies tell us many things. These suggestions have been proven to help with weight loss that I'm going to share with you. First, have some protein at nearly every meal. Now, meat is not the only source of protein, as you know. Many foods are filled with protein. Studies show that protein-rich food helps your body build muscle, which helps your body burn more calories. Second, eat vegetables. And I know you know this, but without vegetables, our bodies can't get many of the essential vitamins that allow us to function at full capacity. For example, vitamin A assists in eye function. Riboflavin and niacin, they turn food into energy. Vitamin C helps prevent disease. You may be happy to know that sometimes raw vegetables are actually not as effective as vegetables that are paired with a healthy fat. So since our bodies have a difficult time breaking down the cell wall of a plant without the help of oil or a fat, it's unlikely that we'll be able to get as many of the nutrients that are available to us without adding something like olive oil to the mix. What does this mean? Yes, you can and should saute those vegetables. It will give them more flavor and it will help you get more out of the veggies. Third, eat 1 to 3 servings of fruit each day. The key to fruit is the color. The more colorful and the darker your fruit is, the more nutritious it is. For weight loss, choose fruits that are low in sugar content, like the low ones are like cranberries, raspberries, blackberries, kiwi, grapefruit, papaya, strawberries. They're all low sugar, vitamin-rich fruits. Fourth, and finally, whatever you do, do not eliminate carbohydrates from your diet. Carbs are essential when it comes to creating energy for your workouts and for your daily activities. So eliminating them completely will leave you feeling sluggish and tired. And that will actually slow down your weight loss and decrease your overall health. The key is to incorporate good carbs in your diet in moderation. Remove white flour, replace it with whole wheat whenever possible. Look for carbs that complete your diet other than bread. There are lots of options. Be careful of what you're eating. It might not be what you think. Some foods are commonly believed to belong to a certain food group, but in reality, they belong to another. One great example is corn, a vegetable. Right? Wrong. Corn is a grain, so it actually belongs in the carb group. Many foods have mistaken identities, so be sure you're checking them for nutrition content before you add them to your food plan. When you're doing what I suggested, and there are so many more health tips coming in videos 2 and 3, you'll not only start noticing improvements in your body, you may also feel more energetic and cheerful. It's amazing what good food can do for us. Okay, now let's talk about strengthening our relationships. 4 of the books that I've written are parenting books, and my former daily radio show is called Solutions for Families. I love talking about how to strengthen relationships because I know that when your relationships with yourself, your family, and your friends are strong and loving, you have the foundation of a very happy life. Enjoying peaceful, loving relationships is for most people the most important thing in their lives. So let's talk about just one of the keys to creating strong relationships. Let's talk about great communication. Learning and strengthening communication skills. This doesn't mean an end to all problems. It doesn't mean that in strong families and in strong marriages there isn't conflict. There is. People get angry with each other. They misunderstand one another and sometimes just disagree. But when they communicate well, they're able to get their differences out in the open where they can talk about them, discuss the problem, and come to a satisfactory solution that's agreeable to everyone. That doesn't mean that the solution will give everyone exactly what he or she wants. It just means that they've reached a common ground upon which they can agree. What are some of the advantages to great communication? People who communicate well know how to talk and to listen well. They know and feel each other's joys and sorrows because they openly share their thoughts. They know how to laugh together. They enjoy a sense of humor that brings happiness to their lives. Individuals and families who communicate well are able to honestly express their feelings, their differences, their similarities, and their hopes for the future. They practice positive ways of handling conflict, so problems are brought out into the open and discussed calmly, and solutions are found. Good communication also provides security and safety. People know where they stand in their relationships, and that contributes to a feeling of well-being. Sometimes we take family communication for granted. We may think we communicate well just because we're in a family or because we spend a good deal of time together. However, most of us can improve our communication skills. So the four parts of good communication are: number one, listening. Oh, this one is so important. Listening strengthens relationships by showing that you care about the other person. Great listening is also about paying attention to what the speaker says non-verbally. It's hearing with the heart. Number two, rephrasing. This is restating the basic message in fewer or different words to be sure that you understand the speaker and to let him know that you're listening and trying to understand. This is an almost magical part of great communication. I wish I had more time to talk about it now, but it's so powerful. Number three, probing. Probing encourages the speaker to say more by asking questions about his feelings or her feelings. Probing directs the speaker's attention inward to examine his or her feelings and thoughts in more depth. And number four, responding positively. Doing this shows you care, that you value the relationship. Every interaction we have with others moves our relationships either forward or backward. There's never a neutral. Although we usually can't change relationships overnight, improving our communication skills will always move them in positive directions. Just one final thought about communication. I've discovered that these additional four things work really well when you're communicating. Number one, show unconditional love. And I have whole presentations on each one of these. Number two, be that person for a moment as you talk. By this I mean to have empathy for their position. And with children, especially, remember what it's like to be young and try to think like they're thinking. Consider their life experiences, their needs, their desires. Number three, try to understand the other person's feelings before you expect them to understand yours. And the last one, respond in ways that will help the other person. Author Dorothy Neville, I love this quote. She said, "The real art of communication is not to say the right thing at the right time, but it's to leave unsaid the wrong thing at the tempting moment." Close quote. And I agree with Max Dupree when he said, "There may be no single thing more important in our efforts to achieve meaningful work and fulfilling relationships than to learn to practice the art of communication." Close quote. Now, the fourth part of our video is about creating financial abundance. This is an exciting topic, especially for those who are ready for wealth. In my co-authored book, Wealth Mastery for Women, 12 Laws to Create Wealth Starting Today, I explained that the first step you need to take, it's the first law, is to decide to be wealthy. Now you might think, Paula, well, of course that's the first step. But so many people think about wealth. They dream about living in big houses and driving beautiful cars, but they don't ever take the time and make the effort to firmly decide that they are going to enjoy financial abundance, and they don't make a plan. And then they don't follow through with a plan. They need a plan with a timeline to achieve their goals. That's one of the things we help women do at the Win. And then we help women follow their plans until their dreams become their realities. So let's talk about deciding to be wealthy. And then in video 2, I'll share with you just one of the many ways you can enjoy financial abundance. You can become wealthy as a highly paid speaker, author, a coach. It's just one way to create wealth, but so many people want to know how to be authors and speakers, life coaches and mentors. Since I've been all of these things for many years, I'll share with you in video 2 some of the things that I teach. Now back to creating financial abundance for yourself and for your family. Napoleon Hill, in his book, Think and Grow Rich, he wrote, quote, "Riches begin with a state of mind, with definiteness of purpose." Close quote. My friends, there is within every human being the belief that we can be more than we are. I'm confident that you already know that every one of your successes begins with your belief that you can succeed. It follows then that the first step to creating wealth must be a belief that you can be wealthy. William James, whom many revere as the father of psychology, said, quote, "The greatest discovery of my generation is that human beings can alter their lives by altering their beliefs." Close quote. My friends, within each one of us is a power we scarcely tap. This power has fueled heroic deeds since time began. It's energized great inventors, artists, and musicians throughout the ages. It's the exact same power available to each of us every day of our lives. It's the power of belief. What is a belief? It's a sense of certainty about something. For example, if you believe you're a good musician, you think, I feel certain I'm a fine musician. And that sense of certainty helps you produce beautiful music. On the other hand, a negative belief works the same way. If you say, I'm a terrible singer, you will produce the results that validate that belief. This applies perfectly to our beliefs around wealth and wealth creation. I believe without a shadow of a doubt that the very first step in creating anything of value in our lives begins with believing that we can. Marcus Aurelius said, "A man's life is what his beliefs make of it." Close quote. Dale Carnegie taught, believe that you'll succeed. Believe it firmly, and then you'll do what is necessary to bring success about. Close quote. So many people go through life without ever consciously and deliberately choosing to be wealthy. And yet, if you ask them, they'll say that being wealthy is one of the things they want most in life. Sadly, however, they go through their entire lives wishing, but never believing, wanting, but never choosing, waiting, but never deciding, truly deciding to enjoy financial abundance. Instead, they allow life and others to determine their destinies. They simply react to circumstances in their lives. They're not proactively moving forward, making decisions and directing their own paths. Imagine a pilot coming over the intercom and announcing, I have some bad news and some good news. The bad news is that we've lost one engine and our direction finder. The good news is that we have a tailwind, and wherever we're going, we're getting there at a rate of 600 miles an hour. Close quote. People often fly along like that, directionless, but being pushed swiftly along by the winds of circumstances. I love the story about the time Justice Oliver Wendell Holmes in the U.S., he misplaced his ticket while traveling on a train. Watching him fumble through his belongings and pockets in growing frustration, the conductor said, Don't worry about it, Mr. Holmes. I'm sure you have your ticket somewhere. If you don't find it during the trip, just mail it in to the railroad when you reach your destination. Well, Holmes looked the conductor in the eye and said, Young man, my problem is not finding my ticket. It's finding out where in the world I'm going. Close quote. Where are you going? I'd like to suggest that you choose wealth and move forward deliberately, taking the steps that lead to success, that you can create wealth and amazing abundance. Believe that. I'd like to suggest that there are 7 steps to achieve any goal. They're all predicated on your belief that you can and will be successful. Your decision to be wealthy is the goal we're focusing on here. However, these steps can be applied to any of your goals. So your goal, wealth creation for you and your family. Your belief, I can create great wealth. Your decision, I decide to be wealthy. Now here are 7 steps to get you there. Number 1, choose great goals. You should choose only goals that you deeply care about and that you're committed to achieving. Choose to be wealthy only if you deeply care about being wealthy and are committed to achieving financial abundance for yourself and your family. The more deeply you're convinced of the absolute necessity of reaching any goal, the more tenacity you'll exert as you work toward it. So, what is it that you'll do to take the time and make the effort as you decide to be wealthy and commit to achieving financial abundance? I'd like to invite you to consider going somewhere to be alone and not being rushed, to think deeply and slowly about this decision to create wealth. And then I invite you to create detailed visual pictures in your mind of your ideal self and your ideal life. See yourself in your mind's eye. See yourself wealthy. See your home, your car, your neighborhood, your ability to pay for things easily, your ability to give to others easily. I love that part. Your ability to help your loved ones and friends. Feel the peace of mind that you will have when you're completely out of debt. Feel the joy that comes from knowing you can lighten the loads of others. See and feel all these things in great detail, taking your time and enjoying the experience. Carefully consider where you want to be in 10 years. Visualize it. Ask yourself, what do I want to be doing in 10 years? Who do I want to be with? What do I want my life to look like? Then think about your life in 5 years in detail, then in 1 year, then in 6 months, and then 1 month from now. I have a 3-step formula. Identify your goal. Decide what your highest priorities are, your first steps, and then resolve to focus like a laser beam, and then follow through. So another important thing to do is to write your goal in detailed specifics. This is of utmost importance. Listen to this. There was an experiment. It was conducted in 1985 with 100 high school students who all decided on future goals. This is a very famous study. So 50 of the students talked about their goals, but they never wrote them down. The other 50 students wrote their goals in specific terms and gave time limits. 10 years later, the students were questioned. Of the 50 students who did not write their goals down, 15%, only 15% achieved them. Of those who wrote their goals in specific details with timelines, 92% achieved their goals. Give your mind a clearly defined goal that it can envision and work toward. Answer this question. What is my definition of wealth, of financial abundance? The answer to that question will be the goal towards which you're working. And be sure to give yourself a time limit. You want dreams with a deadline. Besides your goal, write when you'll achieve each step towards your goal. And then break those goals into small, doable steps, baby steps. No matter how large the task, it is infinitely easier when broken down into daily, weekly, monthly tasks. You'll list the small steps you'll take on your way to reaching your goal, and you'll write an achievement date beside each one of the small steps. My friends, this really works. I've done it so many times. All right, and then consistently and enthusiastically take action. I love this quote. Tom Peters said, "Nothing good or great can be done in the absence of enthusiasm." Now here's a sad fact. Along your way to wealth, you may encounter friends and family members who ridicule your efforts to acquire wealth. You may experience opposition. You probably will. If so, remember that consistently and enthusiastically taking action, no matter what, is a key to your success. So I want to share with you this wonderful poem written by the famous poet Edgar A. Guest. It could help you maintain your enthusiasm. It's called "It Couldn't Be Done." Somebody said that it couldn't be done, but he with a chuckle replied, "Maybe it couldn't, but he would be one who wouldn't say so till he tried." So he buckled right in with a trace of a grin on his face. And he worried, if he worried, he hit it. He started to sing as he tackled the thing that couldn't be done, and he did it. Somebody scoffed, "Oh, you'll never do that. At least no one ever has done it." But he took off his coat and he took off his hat, and the first thing he knew, he'd begun it. With a lift of his chin and a bit of a grin, without any doubt or quit it. That's it. He started to sing as he tackled the thing that couldn't be done, and he did it. There are thousands to tell you it cannot be done. There are thousands to prophesy failure. There are thousands to point out to you one by one the dangers that await to assail you. But just buckle in with a bit of a grin. Just take off your coat and go to it. Just start to sing as you tackle the thing that cannot be done, and you'll do it. Isn't that a fun poem? So the sixth thing is to notice what's working or not and reward yourself along the way. This is how we're reaching our goals. You may have forgot the trail of what we were talking about. So why do you need to do this? Because positive reinforcement, that's the best way to achieve any goal. Immediately reinforce the slightest progress. The moment you achieve one of your small goals along the way to creating wealth, give yourself a reward. Could be anything, but just choose something you really want. So, the last step is to continue to make course corrections until you achieve. You're going to need to make those course corrections. All airplane pilots, CEOs, and ship captains, they understand this. Staying on course as you progress toward your goal requires course corrections. Because why? From time to time, as you move toward your goal, you're going to veer a little to the right or to the left because distractions and obstacles are inevitable. Count on them. Don't let them discourage you, though. Make course corrections. Get back in the groove. So those are the steps to successful goal achievement. So now that you know your goal to create wealth starting today, you can begin by simply saying in your heart and aloud, loud and strong, "I decide to be wealthy." These words, repeated frequently and believed sincerely, that's the key, carry with them a force that can influence the subconscious mind. I'm sure you know about this. It will influence the subconscious mind to bring about your declaration and your desire. Once you have decided something firmly and without reservation, your subconscious mind will begin to create the reality necessary to bring to pass exactly what you declare and desire. Oh, we're so close to the end. In closing, I'd like to lovingly remind you that you can be the best possible version of you. If you're breathing, you deserve your heart's desires. Everyone does. Let go of any limiting belief or any old patterns or reasons why you cannot live the life that you love, and be truly thankful for what you do have. It is in the gratitude that abundance is born. Now you may be thinking, that sounds good, Paula, and maybe others can do the things you're teaching, but I have some real obstacles in my life. I have human porcupines in my family. I'm sometimes just overwhelmed and frustrated. My friend, I'd like to respond to your thoughts and lovingly remind you that everyone on this planet has obstacles and frustrations. Opposition is part of everyone's journey. Everyone we meet is fighting a battle that we know nothing about. I know without a shadow of a doubt that the thought leaders and I, with you, we can help you create the life you love. I'm hoping that there's also part of your heart that's resonating with the things that I've shared. I'm hoping there's a big part of you that thinks, I can do this. I can step up and answer yes to your invitation, Paula, to move forward and take the steps I need to take to love my life. I believe that I can leave fear behind and respond, yes, I will enjoy self-mastery, better health, stronger relationships, and financial abundance. I invite you to think these positive thoughts because with support, you can create that life you love. I believe in you. Oh, I wish you were right here with me so we could talk about your life. You could tell me exactly what you need next. In video number 2, the second one in our Win-Win for Women series of 4, I'll share more on self-mastery and how to enjoy better health, stronger relationships, and financial abundance. Thank you for watching. I look forward to reconnecting with you on video number 2.